really good if you publish in a niche or a topic that you're your own audience.
All right, we are rolling. Hey everyone, Brett here with CraveBooks, and today I am chatting with an author and entrepreneur who has made over 7 figures self-publishing through Amazon KDP, and he has recently sold one of his KDP accounts for over $800,000. He also has a YouTube channel which has over 100,000 subscribers. Let me welcome Sean. How are you today, Sean?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Nice, nice. So you're out in Thailand enjoying the sun, right?
Yeah, right now it's what is it, 9 a.m. over here in Thailand. Um, I got a place right by the beach, so it's super nice. I am leaving in a couple days, so a little sad though.
I did want to ask, how gratifying is it to be able to leave the normal kind of 9 to 5 and be an entrepreneur and just travel wherever you want?
Yeah, it feels amazing, man. I mean, when I was in my early 20s, I pretty much dropped everything else besides working, and I dedicated my life to just building my publishing business, and I had no social life. I never ate out, never bought anything. I just built the business for years and years and years. And I live like crap, but I feel like now I can live a much higher quality of life, especially, I can do the same in the US, but it's just different experiences you can gain just by being a digital nomad because you can make money online with Amazon KDP and self-publishing. And it's been amazing. I've traveled to most countries in Southeast Asia, a little bit in Europe. I would say Thailand offers like the easiest transition from the US, especially with some parts of Thailand. So it's been my favorite for sure.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of want to get into maybe a little bit later, just the work-life balance of being able to kind of create that freedom for yourself through self-publishing. But
Yeah.
first, I kind of want to get into what was your expertise before getting into KDP, and how did you get into it? Do you need to have a marketing degree to be able to self-publish and market successfully?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely not an expertise. I did work in sales before starting self-publishing. When I was 18, I got into a network marketing company. I was recruited into it. And then I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki, right? And Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said that sales is the fastest way to increase your income because if you know how to sell, you can make more money instead of like waiting for a raise by your boss and something like that. So I'm like, okay, I'll start sales. I did door-to-door sales and a bunch of different sales, like retail sales too. But I would not say it's an expertise because I really sucked at it. English is my second language because I'm from Japan originally, and I struggled a lot. But when I transitioned into self-publishing, I guess that kind of helped with marketing, especially with copywriting, using what kind of words a little bit. But overall, that was what I was doing before. And I was working as a concierge at a hotel when I was around 22. And then I watched a video. So I basically came home from work one day, I YouTube how to make money online. And I found a video by this guy talking about self-publishing. And he said it's one of the easiest business to get started with for beginners. And at this point, on top of working a sales job, I've always tried to build different businesses because I failed in network marketing. I was really bad at it because I was an introvert. And I tried like, blogging, affiliate marketing, a bunch of different businesses, and I kept on failing for 4 years straight. I made like $100 in 4 years and I felt really, really defeated, right? Because I was investing all this time, money into it. And then I found publishing and I'm like, all right, well, I got nothing to lose. The guy says it's the easiest business model for beginners. So I'm like, all right, let me try it. So I published one book and it made like, $300 in a month. And then it kind of died off because it wasn't a good book, to be honest. It got some poor reviews, but that gave me the confidence to keep going. And then I just kept building it for years and then absolutely changed my life.
Would you say that $300 kind of gave you a taste and just kind of fed your appetite in terms of continuing the business?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people got to experience the small wins, and especially now that I'm teaching publishing too. I think the biggest thing is you got to get your first book out. And the cool thing with self-publishing, especially on Amazon, is just Amazon is just crazy. There's so many people going there looking for something to buy. So no matter how bad your, let's say, SEO is in your title or your book cover is, maybe you have a topic that nobody's looking for, but for whatever reason, somebody buys it. And then you see that first dollar you made online. And then that gives you the confidence that, okay, this works. Maybe if I tweak a few things, do a better job in the next book or improve the current book, I'll make so much more, right? I think that's key. And that's why I really, try to get people to get that first book out as soon as possible.
Yeah, I definitely think one of the misconceptions about self-publishing with authors going into it, or just entrepreneurs, is that they think they're going to make thousands of dollars with their first book, when in
Yeah.
reality it's a process where you have that $300, that $500, and you slowly build and build on it. What is one misconception that you feel a lot of new entrepreneurs have with Amazon, KDP, or just self-publishing in general?
I think the biggest one is that a lot of people, when they start this business or when they think about Amazon KDP publishing, they have an idea in their head. They're like, oh, I can publish a book on this topic, I can publish a book on this topic, but they never go and validate it. And validating means like, are their books on this topic actually selling already? Are there people actually buying or looking for this topic? Because yeah, you have an idea, but if nobody else is looking for it, if there's no books selling on the topic, then it's probably not profitable. So you spend all the time writing the book, publishing it, and it's probably not going to sell, right? So it's as simple as going to Amazon, searching for, like, if you're writing like paranormal fiction or whatever, like you search for a keyword that's related to your topic and then like see what book shows up. Check the BSR, because Amazon tells you how well the book is selling. Even without having paid tools and everything, you can just click on the product, scroll down a little bit. Under the product details, it says the bestsellers rank, and then that kind of gives you an idea of how well the book is selling. And then you can see if there's multiple books selling well on the topic, then that probably means that there is demand, and that gives you a green light on, okay, you can probably write a book on it and it'll do well. So it's just that little research beforehand is, I think, very important.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think I've had so many just ideas pop into my head where I'm like, oh, that would make a great book. And I think there's a lot of other people out there the same way. But then when you do the research, you don't see any of these books. You don't see anybody buying any of these kinds of books because it's not selling. It's right, like a product market fit. You want people to already be buying it. You don't want to have to create that desire for them to buy the book. You want the desire to already be there, and then just build on it and strengthen that desire with your books.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of go back. You mentioned copywriting. Is there one marketing skill that you would say? I would think copywriting would be up there because there's so much you can learn about this buyer psychology and what makes people want to buy. Is there any marketing that a new author could learn or should study that would significantly help them with their KDP business?
Yeah, copywriting is definitely one of the most important skills. However, I wouldn't recommend people to really go deep into copywriting itself, such as like, taking a course in copywriting that has nothing to do with publishing, right? Like if there is a copywriting course specifically for Amazon KDP, which I don't really know if there are programs or courses out there. Like I saw a program on publishing. It includes a module on it, but it's not the whole program about copywriting, right? Um, but yeah, if there's anything self-publishing specific, definitely. But if it's just copywriting outside, and I think it's what's better is if you just really dig deep into your niche. Like a lot of times, it's really good if you publish in a niche or topic that you're your own audience. Like that's when I found the most success. Is I started publishing books where I read a lot myself too, so I really understood what the customers wanted in the book, how I should structure the book, what kind of problem I should be solving, because I do nonfiction, not fiction. So like in nonfiction, we're solving a problem. the customers have, right? So I really knew exactly before I did any market research or anything, I knew exactly what I should be including in these books. And that allowed me to speak the language that my readers had. And I think that is more important than straight up just like copywriting hacks that you might learn from a YouTube video or a course that you try to apply it into your niche. You know what I mean? Um, so if I would name that skill, I think it's just like being able to put yourself into your customer's shoes, just really, really immerse yourself in that niche so you can start speaking the language of your reader. I think that's the most important.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes along the lines with focusing on one area, right? You don't want to be selling this product, that product, this
Yeah.
book, that book, unless you have expertise in each of those areas. But at the start, at the beginning, is narrow down and focus on what you know. Use skills that you've learned in the past and knowledge that you've already had, and just build on those. Say if it's nonfiction, or for me, I love reading science fiction. I can't imagine writing a fantasy book because I don't read fantasy.
Yeah.
So I definitely, yeah, that is super important. When you first got started, were there any mistakes that you made that, looking back, you just kind of want to kick yourself in the butt and say, what was I doing? Like anything like that?
Yeah, definitely made a lot of mistakes. But I would say the biggest mistake is just going back to what we talked about before, right? So I did publish a bunch of books in different niches and different topics, thinking, oh, this is a good topic. Let me write a book on this. Oh, this is a good one. And it has nothing to do with each other, right? Like it's in a completely different niche. And, also on top of that, the quality of the books weren't that good. So, oftentimes with a little bit of marketing and also Amazon gives preferential ranking and treatment for new books, right? And they see how the book does. There's a little honeymoon phase. So you make some sales during the honeymoon phase, and then it just kind of dies off because of bad reviews. And I was kind of spinning my wheels, to be honest. I thought for the first couple of years, I thought the name of the game was just volume, and you gotta like the books eventually dies off, and I just have to keep making more books. And that's what I was doing until I realized that maybe I don't have to do that. Maybe I can just slow down, actually make a high quality book so that it doesn't die. It never dies off, right? So that I publish a book, and let's say that book, the potential of that topic is $500, $1,000 per month. So let's just say it's $1,000 per month. I publish it, I maximize everything, conversion rates, listing optimization, and do a good job marketing. And let's say it's making like $1,000 a month. Well, it's a good book. It's ranking. Now Amazon is showing to more people, and it becomes extremely steady. It really becomes digital real estate, right? It's like a rental property that you have on Amazon, and it keeps collecting rent checks. And now you got a book making $1,000 a month. You go and focus on the next one, and that could add it to whatever you're making. It just keeps stacking up if you focus on high quality books. And so that's the pivot that I made a few years in. And that took me from like spinning my wheels at like $8,000 a month, which is still good, but I jumped up to like 40K a month, from that. So
Yeah. Now, if you were to rank in terms of what is the best thing to focus on when you're publishing on KDP, obviously you want to narrow in on your niche, make sure that people are buying books in that niche. But from there, when you're creating a book, what's kind of the process you go through? What do you kind of rank as the most important? I need to do this. This is, I don't really need to worry too much about this area, but as long as I have these two things, or is it overall you need just a great quality book in general?
in terms of ranking the importance of each factors, I would say number one is the topic. So you need a topic that people are actually searching for and that are in demand, right? So you got to make sure if there's, are there other books selling on the topic, or at least if you're going to be the first book in the topic, at least like maybe there are a bunch of podcasts being listened to on this topic, or maybe, a YouTube video getting a lot of views, people just talking about it in forums, whatever, right? You just need some kind of proof that people are looking for that topic. Number two is the book cover. So people do judge a book by its cover because unfortunately, you could have an amazing book in terms of the interior and the content, but no one's going to get to that if they're not going to buy the book, right? So the packaging is more important actually if you want to make money, and we're talking about money. So book cover is the second most important, in the title as well. It's kind of like hand in hand. Um, and then from there, you will start making sales because of publishing a book in a in-demand topic, and then a attractive packaging that you got. But if you want longevity, so you're gonna start making sales. But if you don't want that sales to die off like how it did with me, then you need to follow it up with actually providing high quality content inside, right? So you do all that, and obviously there's like the marketing aspect of it with reviews, running some ads, or perhaps like nowadays social media marketing is picking up with TikTok and stuff, and it's all free. So people used to complain like, oh, you got to spend money to make money, but now there's free strategies too that are very, very effective. But I would say in terms of importance, those are the top three.
In terms of social media strategy,
Mhm.
what kind of social media strategies are you using? Are you using any to publish? Because I mean, in nonfiction, obviously you could be an expert on a certain area, but if it's a puzzle book or a coloring book, how are you going about advertising your books?
Yeah, I'm still using Amazon ads, basically like primarily Amazon ads. Social media marketing is something that I want to start testing out because recently, I mean, TikTok is just blowing up, right? So there are people publishing books. I mean, the number one book recently, the Shadowwork Journal, is making millions a month just from TikTok. And then obviously it's doing like really well on Amazon itself, but also on TikTok too. And it's as simple as like ordering your book, filming a 9-second video, just like flipping through the page or just talking about one page, and that's a content, and you can do that every single day. I just read a Facebook post, I forgot which group it was, but this fiction author made $600,000 in a single month with like a 95% profit margin because she, obviously writes the book herself. She got a good quality book in a topic that people are interested in as well. So the book is good, but her marketing strategy was just making daily TikTok videos. That is it, right? And then she just hired somebody to run ads, but her ads like expenses like 4K a month. So if you're spending 4K a month making 600K a year, that's crazy, right? So
Yeah.
and obviously a lot of it comes from TikTok. So TikTok is very effective. I just haven't tried it out myself, but it works with fiction, obviously. If it works with low content, medium content type activity books as well. Nonfiction, you just got to be a little more creative. I think nonfiction Amazon ads is still pretty good.
Yeah, I think nonfiction would probably be the toughest thing, unless, like I said, you're an expert in that field or whatever you published about, to advertise on TikTok. Have you tried selling through TikTok Shop at all yet?
Not yet. That's like the new thing that I really want to test out.
Yeah, no, I've seen, and they even have um, like affiliate programs where you can set a certain amount that if someone makes a video about your product, they get a commission.
Mm.
That's something I wanted to, and I've seen a lot of fiction authors building their platform and selling through TikTok Shop.
Are they
Um,
doing
yeah, yeah. So if I wanted to publish a book, how much importance do you put on a book launch in terms of getting reviews? With fiction, I know it's pretty important. You have your community, you have a huge book launch, you have advanced reader copies. With nonfiction, low content, whatever you're publishing on KDP, do you put any emphasis on a book launch?
It is important. I would say it's less important than fiction. I believe with fiction, because I don't do fiction, right? But I've been in the space long enough to kind of understand how it works. And I believe with fiction, since you don't have keyword-based ranking, it's more so like niche. Like you try to rank in categories that are profitable, And so in order for you to do that, you need a huge launch. Try to get as low of a BSR as possible. Ride that wave. Amazon starts promoting you. You're ranking in good categories, and you can kind of taper off a little bit. It's similar to low content or nonfiction too. You still want to do a launch, but Amazon's algorithm seems like they're changing right now. You know, before it was like if you get a bunch of sales within a span of literally 3 days, you rank on top of page one, or even within a month, right? Because you get that 1 month honeymoon period. Um, you rank high if you launch and get a lot of sales in a month. But that kind of caused a lot of people to just do these strategies where they just explode their books with sales in a short period, and then the sales kind of dies off. So Amazon's algorithm, it seems like it's changing. Now they are looking at more of a longer, consistent sales over a long period. So I don't think it's as important. I think you should still do a launch, but focus more on having a consistent marketing strategy that gets you, daily sales and reviews over like a few months, maybe 1 to 3 months, right? And that seems to move the book up slowly over whatever keyword or like category that you're trying to rank for, and then over time it ranks very high, and then from there like organic traffic comes in. So you still want to do it at launch, but you don't have to go like super super crazy. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say what's more important, paid traffic or organic traffic?
Paid traffic is how you start. Um, but I guess like TikTok is organic, so like you can do that too. But basically, external traffic is what you want to do, right? Whether that's TikTok, Amazon ads, technically is like you doing, like when I say external traffic, it's you marketing the book and getting sales rather than relying on Amazon. And you have to start with that. You have to do a little bit of work in the beginning, getting reviews and sales. But once you do so, once you show Amazon that, hey, my book is in demand, look at this, right? My book is getting reviews, it's getting sales. You guys should promote it too, because Amazon will make money. So Amazon sees that, and Amazon is like, okay, this book is in demand, it's doing good, let's promote it more. So that's when the organic traffic comes in, and it's nice when that happens. But in the beginning, if you want that organic passive traffic, you got to do some work to rank the book initially.
Yeah, I like to think paid traffic leads to sales, sales leads to rank, rank leads to organic traffic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so if you're struggling and you're not getting very much organic traffic, maybe it's time to think about running some ads. Do you ever use Facebook ads, or are you strictly on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon ads is for me much better, especially because I do nonfiction or low content type of books. Facebook ads is a lot more expensive, and compared to Amazon ads, and it's tough. I mean, with fiction you can make it work because you got a huge back list of books that people can. You can take a loss with like the first couple books, but then people go and buy other books in the back end, and then you make your profit there. But with nonfiction, it's we got a lot of standalone books, so we kind of want to make a profit with book number one. So yeah, Amazon ads is more straightforward.
Yeah, and talking about paid advertising, do you employ any paid promotions like a newsletter blast or a blog post, a book blogger? Do you any of that stuff?
I've done a few. So I've actually gone through, like, I have a YouTube video on this where I've tested out all like a bunch of different Fiverr book promotion gigs. So I've done like Instagram shout outs, blog features and all that. And most of them does not work at all, right? There are a few that is actually good though. So you just got to make sure that, whatever book promo sites you use, blog features, like they actually got existing traffic rather than saying, hey, I'll feature your book on my website. And people think, oh, it's going to be on the website, like you're going to get traffic, but they don't actually confirm how many visits that website is getting a month. So, I've had Fiverr gigs that sells a service of like a blog feature for $50. And then I check their traffic because there's tools out there that you can actually check their blog traffic, right? And then there's like 5 visits a month. It's like nothing. So you got to make sure that you're actually ordering from good ones. And there are some good ones out there, but yeah, you have to make sure you do your due diligence beforehand.
Yeah, that's I mean that's one thing at CraveBooks we do promotions, and what we're trying to do is just be more transparent in general. That way people know what they're getting when they promote. And I definitely think for nonfiction, it is a lot tougher if you're running an email promotion compared to those diehard bookworms that are fantasy or romance readers that are just looking for their next read. I think it's a little bit of a different audience and a different approach you have to take between nonfiction and fiction.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to run over too much, but I do have some other questions. I would like to get into Amazon ads, but maybe we can save that for an interview in the future. So I have two would you rathers, and then a couple rapid fire finish the sentences. So the first one I have is, would you rather only publish ebooks or only publish paperback books for the rest of your life?
I'll publish paperbacks just because most of the income is earned from paperbacks.
Really? I would think with ebooks on the rise that some people would lean more towards ebooks, but you're finding more just revenue and profit in paperback.
Yeah, I want to clarify it's for nonfiction, right? For nonfiction,
Yes, nonfiction.
It's like 60% paperback, 10-20% ebook, and then the rest in audiobooks. So if I have an audiobook option here, I'll probably do audiobook. But within these two options, I'll do paperback. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it might be different if it was fiction, just because Kindles are on the rise. So this one's I kind of changed it up, and I don't know if you've ever eaten this, but would you rather only be able to publish coloring books for the rest of your life, or never get to eat spam musubi again?
Yeah. I never really liked spam musubi. I mean, it's good. I'm okay with it, but I don't love it. So I will keep publishing coloring books.
Okay. I when I was introduced, I was like, this is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. So with these next ones, just finish the sentence, no explanation.
All right.
The most important lesson I've learned about self-publishing is?
The most important lesson I've learned about self-publishing is you have to identify demand before publishing a book.
When I first started, KDP, I'll read them, don't worry. When I first started with KDP, I wish I had known
that quality is better than quantity.
All right. One strategy that significantly increased my book sales is
getting a high quality book cover, investing more into book covers than anything else you would is probably a good choice, because people, like, it literally affects maybe 80-90% of sales from my experience.
If you could change one thing about the KDP platform, it would be?
Do you mean like the KDP dashboard or the Amazon
like
side?
Amazon KDP in general, the way they run things?
I just wish they had better support, and better communication there.
Yeah,
I think,
no, I've experienced it.
Yeah.
All right. In 10 years, I see the world of self-publishing.
I think it's going to evolve towards more digital publishing. So like you're right, I think ebook is going to keep growing. I think audiobook is a really trending up market, and paperback is probably going to slowly die, but publishing is going to be here, and it will be super cool. Like, if you can do something like a picture book where the pictures are actually moving. And I think you can do that with AI, especially. So, and then that's like a whole new book that you can create, like an animated book, right? So it will be really cool to see something like that happening, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I've seen a couple websites that have, they read the book to you, and then it's for kids. You can mouse over the words and it'll tell you the word and definition of the word. So I would agree. I see that coming more in the future where it's more interactive. I mean, I'm a sci-fi guy, so that's just my first thought is future.
Yeah.
All right. And the last one, do you have any book recommendation that would help self-published authors? Could be starting self-publishing, could be your book, could be about marketing, could be a general marketing book, just one book that you might recommend.
I think it's a marketing book, and it's not really for self-publishing, but it's something that you can apply in every business. And I'm sure a lot of listeners heard about this book. I will recommend too, $100 million offer, and because that really talks about packaging, and
It's Alex Hormozy, right?
Alex Hormozy, and
Mm-hmm.
you will learn about packaging your offer, and also just copywriting a little bit, and also expert secrets. Same thing. I think just positioning your offer, and packaging and positioning is kind of the same thing, but I think understanding that is important because, like, even in nonfiction, once you identify a profitable topic, the next question is like, how can I stand out, right? How can I make my book either unique, so it's a little different than everybody else, or just better value in general? And it's as simple as, if everybody else has 100 puzzles in a book, better value means like coming up with a book that has 150 puzzles, right? So it's as simple as that. But you could also kind of try a new angle. Like if everybody else is just coming up with animal puzzles, then you can do space puzzles or something like that. So just those kind of like little marketing thing that you can do. You'll learn a lot from those books, and I think it's going to be very beneficial.
Yeah, I would agree. Any kind of good marketing book like that is super beneficial to authors, just because authors are trying to sell, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, sell your book. Well, that's all the time we have today. Sean, this is your plug. Where can people find you? Do you have a handle? What do you have going on?
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel. So if you look up my name, Sean Dollwet, so it's Dollwet. But if you look up Sean Self Publishing or Sean Amazon KDP, it should show up. So you guys can find me on YouTube. I got a lot of videos. Hopefully it's helpful.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Sean. And hopefully we have a chance to chat again sometime.
Yeah, it was nice. Thanks for having me.